Have you seen her? Ain't she great? She's something you'll appreciate. I'm sure you understand just what I mean. Everybody, everywhere, is falling for her now. I'm speaking of the new Ford, and boy, it's sure a wow. Lay off, people, lay off, folks. None of your sarcastic jokes. Henry's made a lady out of Lizzie. Not a rattle, not a bit. Lizzie now has lots of it. Henry's made a lady out of Lizzie. There's everything inside her now except a kitchen sink, a mirror, and a powder puff, a shower bath, I think. I'll bet my life that this Miss Ford will live as long as Fanny Ward. Henry's made a lady out of Lizzie. Now, you remember Lizzie, how she used to run before? Going 15 miles an hour, she would lose a door. When she was doing 20, remember how you...
Getting out and driving and touring, and I think certainly what Larry just presented is certainly one side of it. We thought we'd kind of give you a perspective of first-time tourists. And I don't want to say how easy it is, but... I'll let them do it. So here we have Abbey and Elley, Paulsen, my kids. I don't know. Here, I don't know what's going to happen, but here you go.
So we just wanted to share a little bit about how both of us have done our first tours now. I have one.
Oh.
We both have. We've both done tours now. And I did mine in my own Model T. She did one in our grandpa's Model T Torpedo sitting over there. And we just wanted to share like some of the things that went wrong and prove that it's not as scary as it seems.
It was a little scary.
So this is me at about 5 years old, and my dad told both of us, as soon as you can reach the pedals, you can drive. So for me, it happened at 8. I think she was about 7. But he always let both of us sit on his lap and drive or steer. So this was me driving into our garage at one of our houses. Do you want to talk?
No, you're
Okay,
doing great.
So we had a brush, and this is a recreation. We wanted to recreate the Abernathy boys. So I'm on the left, Ellie's on the right, and he let both of us drive it. I think Elley was about 5 when we sold it. I was 9. So he let both of us drive it, and it was just, it was fun. So this was my very first tour. We went to Michigan. We did 2 tours this week, so we were gone for about a week and a half. I did about 500 miles of touring. It was stationed at the Gilmore Museum, but really I had no problems. It was, there was a day that there was a torrential downpour, and I didn't have a top on it at the time, so it was, driving and not being able to see where you're going, which was quite scary for the first tour, but we made it through, and the only other thing really was the fan bushing burnt up, so we took the fan off and just kept driving. Dad told me, just drive faster, it'll be fine. So Elley was my navigator. This was at the end of a long, hot day. She was kind of tired of riding with me. This was at the beginning of our rainstorm. My mom took this picture. Elley and I are riding in my car, and Elley jumped ship into my dad's car with a torpedo, or with a top, and my mom came with me to navigate for the rest of the rainy day. This is another picture of we were crossing a bridge, and Elley was taking pictures for me. On this tour there were about 4 of us in a group. Some of my dad's good friends and us were all together. And I think we had just stopped to get water or something like that. Another picture of Elley navigating for me. She was not always the happiest to be with me, but that's okay. So the girl on the right is one of my dad's longtime friends, his daughter, and she's about the same age as us. That's her car, and my car's on the left.
Oh, my turn.
Your turn.
So was it this summer?
Yeah.
Yep, this summer. Sorry guys, losing track of time. My four family and our grandpa, which he's somewhere, over there. Who's watching? He's watching. There was a tour based out of Manhattan, Kansas, and it's close enough to McPherson that we were like, let's just drive the Model Ts up there and go. And I was old enough, and so I walked up to my grandpa, and I've always liked the torpedo that's sitting right there, and I've actually named him Tony, the torpedo. I asked my grandpa as we were planning on going this tour, I was like, hey, can I borrow your car and drive it? Because she had hip surgery this summer, and she obviously couldn't drive. So we have flipped roles, and she was then my navigator this summer. So I asked my grandpa, I was like, hey, can I take this? And he was like, yep, when are you coming to pick it up? So I'm not sure if he was eager to get it out of there or just eager to let me drive. So we left. We probably left like 8 o'clock in the morning-ish, and we traveled up to Manhattan. And a lot of people are like, oh, it seems like forever, but it was probably 40 or 50 miles, and then we stopped at our first gas station, and it was like, oh, we're already almost halfway there. And then we stopped at this Subway here for lunch, and it was like, oh, we're like almost there. And next thing we knew, we were there. So we had pulled into the parking lot of the hotel that we were staying at just to go check in, and we checked in, and then we came out because we had left the cars in the hot sun because we were all really hot. And so then we put it in the parking garage, and as my dad and I are moving the car, we hear this weird rattling noise.
What was the noise?
Oh, I don't know.
It was a noise I had never heard out of the Model T.
We were a little concerned at first, but we put it in the parking garage, we took a look, and the speedometer gear was just unscrewed from the wheel. So we were just like, doesn't usually work anyway, so just take it off. And as you can see, we just have not put it back on either. So my dad helped me get all the tools, and I took the whole wheel off and took the whole thing off myself. In this tour, there was an afternoon where I don't know what happened, but we were like, let's go look. And so we found this place. It's called Pillsbury Crossings. And you basically just drive your car across the river, lake, I don't know. And so we were like, why not? And so
Natural rock bed where the river crosses right there. It's a very no event to go see if you're ever in Manhattan, Kansas. Been around for 100 years.
Yep, so we were just like, let's go check it out. And at first, I was like, not sure the car will make it through because it was a little bumpy, but we made it. So it's all part of the fun. Is this the car show? This is the car show that was in Manhattan at the time, and car shows we kind of just walk around and then just kind of hang out. So not much else. We had found an ice cream place that was attached to K-State, and you can tell we're very sunburnt and hot, and ice cream sounded good. And as you can see, Abby's leg is propped up on mine because that's that she had hip surgery on, and we were kind of just getting by, I guess.
So I think what we've learned is a lot of people are afraid to go on your first tour, but there's really no reason to be afraid. I mean, everybody on the tour had to do a first tour sometime, and I mean, your car is meant to be driven. It was always meant to be driven. So for us, it was fun. It was scary at first, but like she said, the first day you're scared, but then you before you know it, you're at a lunch stop. And then before you know it, the first day is done and you didn't have any trouble. Or if you did, there was somebody there to help you. So there was really, we haven't found a reason not to drive.
I would say, so the Torpedo has a history of overheating. Like if you go over there and you look at the radiator, you can see water splatters down the front of it, but no big deal. You just let it cool down and you add more water. I don't know, you just go with the flow, and if you don't have the tools to fix it, I can guarantee you somebody else on the tour with you will have the tools that you need to fix. Whatever you need to fix. And I don't know, my parents took me on my first tour when I was 5 or 6 months old. So like cars have been part of my life since I was 5 months old. And so I just always known, and like Abby said, our dad's rule was as soon as your feet can touch the pedals, I'll let you drive. So
I hesitate to do this, but are there any questions?
Go for it.
What ages were you at your first tour?
I was, so I was born in October, so I didn't get to go until I was like 9 months old. But I went on I think we went on you guys took me on a Christmas parade at like 2 months old or something.
And then the Michigan tour, how old were you when that was your first?
I was 17. I finished the car during COVID when I was 16. So.
And then for me, my first tour was in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and I was born in February, so summer was right around the corner. And so they took me on my first tour, and then in Manhattan, I was only 15 years old. And
yep.
Unlike Abby, I don't have my own car. I just borrow my grandpa's because
It's cheaper that way.
Yeah.
I'm curious what steering wheel's all right. If you get the instructions upside down.
Yeah. No, so when I wanted my car to be different. So my dad and we were out in my grandpa's garage looking for parts, and I was like, there's a transmission cover and the pedals are on the other side. And my dad was like, well, I don't really have plans for it, so you can have it. And I was like, great. It'll be a way for my car to be different. And he's like, you'll be different enough, but that's okay. Yeah.
So do you aspire to have your own car?
So I actually am very busy, as you can imagine. I actually play a sport all year round, or like I have a sport every season of the year. So I don't particularly have time, really, to build my own car. And I'll be turning 16 next month, so for her, it took her about
6 years.
Long time. So I don't think I necessarily am going to build my own, but if my grandpa's okay with that, I'll just keep using the Torpedo and keep going.
No pressure on you, Grandpa. Please tell Congressman enjoy watching your dad sweat.
I mean, I really think I think he's more nervous when we're getting ready, when we're changing the oil, putting gas in it, and making sure that everything's going to be okay before we go. But once we're there, he's like, if something's going to happen, it's going to happen. We've done everything we can to prepare. So at that point, he's like, drive it, have fun.
Hats off to your courage and ambition. Yeah, just ingenuity. That's great. I'd love to see that.
Abby, how long did it take you to get used to right-hand drive?
I like it better, honestly, because, I mean, I feel like, especially now, there's cars who aren't as careful when you're driving on a busier road. So when you're on the right side, you can hug the curb as much as you want.
Does it feel awkward, though, to go from one to the other? Doesn't?
Nope.
What do you tell your friends? How do you get them to come out to their first, Model T engagement? It's important, I think.
I think it's mostly just giving rides. Mm-hmm. I mean, the first time they look at it, they're like, oh, it's slow, I don't want to do that. And then you give them a ride, and they're like, oh, yeah, you might top out at 40 miles an hour, but it's fun.
Anything else?
So your tours have been with national tours?
For the most part, yeah.
Okay, so when are you going to go on a tour just the two of you get the cars and go to Lincoln?
We've done several We've done several day trips. I mean,
Okay.
we've gone, I mean, we have some
Everybody
family
fight
who,
overnight,
we like to do things with a group of people, not just, I mean, but anytime we can, we'll go out for ice cream or
Yeah.
drive 15 miles for dinner.
Model T's run on ice cream.
Yeah.